بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما يا رب العالمين. I just want to echo a conversation I was just having with a brother, and I feel like this is a very pertinent and important message that we need to share. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions in the Quran that يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ نَارًا. That, O believers, قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ, protect yourselves and your families. Now, we've been put in a position where we're living in a Western society, Western culture, where at times there's going to be a clash, at times we're going to seem like we're different. Especially for my younger friends, we're going to look like we're different. And I feel it's important that we recognize the difference between respect and assimilation. Respect and assimilation, two words that I want you to think about. Where respect is someone has values, beliefs, they have an identity, and you do not degrade that. You say that, okay, lakum dinukum waliya din, your way and my way. And then you have assimilation, where you actually reflect their behavior. So we were just speaking about the challenges that, especially our younger generation, they're facing today, that on social media and things like that, you'll have, non-gender, you'll have all these things, and we're not saying we're pro, we're not saying we're against, but against our Islamic beliefs are there, right? So we're living in these environments where we need to actually acknowledge to ourselves and explain to ourselves and our children what our core values and beliefs are. And it's important that we as parents, as elders, we set the boundaries that as Muslims, this is our identity. You respect other people, but at the end of the day, this is our identity. If you look at other places, you look at, for example, Muslim Spain. Muslims ruled there for 500 years, but then why did they lose it for? It all came down to this, that they started assimilating the people around them. That whereas when Islam was developing, their armies and things were developing, their strategic planning was developing, but then these people, they began to assimilate and began to drink and began to indulge in the world. You look at places like, I've heard from a scholar from South Africa actually, that he went to Chile. And many of the older uncles may know that in the 60s there was a migration from Palestine to Chile. So he said that there, when he went there, they called him over because there's people there, they have, Muslim names, Umar, Ibrahim, but they say we're not Muslim. That they married into the people and they completely forgot about their identity. They assimilated the people around them and they completely lost their iman. So it's important, very important, more than ever, that we sit down, especially if you have younger children, that you explain to them what it means to be a Muslim. Islam has to be part of our daily life. It's not something that we keep for Jumu'ah and Eid. It's something that we have to explain to our children. It's more difficult than ever now. So it's important for us as elders of the community, we have to educate ourselves on topics like this. Because your children will come to ask you, Mum, Dad, I've got a person, or my teacher at school, she says that she's got a wife. How come Mum doesn't have a wife? Right? They're going to ask questions like this. So it's important that we, first and foremost, we have to educate ourselves as a community on these topics, because at the end of the day, we are Muslims. First and foremost, that is what comes before anything, our Islamic identity. And that is the message that I want to give everyone today, that let us educate ourselves on these difficult subjects, but subjects that we need to learn. We need to understand and educate. We can't just keep them to the side and push them under the rug, because these things are going to get worse and worse. Like the brother was saying, he was like on Instagram, this individual, they put he and she, he, she. It means that the person that, it means gender, binary gender. Meaning that people, this is what people believe, that, that people don't have genders. Your baby doesn't have a gender. Your toddler doesn't have a gender. Look at our physical creation. Physically, of course, we have a gender. But this is what, the propaganda that's going around. So it's important that we educate ourselves so that we can educate our children and that they can be strong enough to answer these kind of queries. And they can stand up, they feel confident that, no, this is actually... Because the only reason they become confused and they become embarrassed is when they're not educated, right? If we have the answers, then it's very easy. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first and foremost give me the understanding and give me the ability to be strong on my iman, strong on my core beliefs, core values, and allow all, especially my young brothers, to be strong. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka.